And are you refreshed? Good. Now what?
I'm beyond grateful to be here. I just don't even know where to begin. I'm gonna start with the fact that I was 24 years old and I started getting panic attacks. And for that I'm grateful because it ended up leading me into a path of mental health as a professional into mental health. I think the panic attacks were guiding me and leading me. And
there's nothing like being out of vibrational alignment to cause you to want more to be in vibrational alignment.
Yeah.
Contrast serves you in that way. One of the predominant pieces of our message that we are wanting to impart to you in a way that you will receive it fully and always remember it is that the contrast that you think you don't want is always helpful to your experience.
And it ended up becoming a blessing.
That's what we just said.
But I have
it's always helpful to your experience but here's the reason that we're emphasizing this even before you get started here is because if at the beginning of your creating of your vibrational climate you could accept the value and benefit of variety and contrast, then the momentum would not have to become so great in order to give you the value.
So with that said, I see so many people, myself included, at times, still suffering so much from mental health issues, from physical issues. Primarily the mental health issues I'm concerned about because it seems to just be getting worse and worse with depression, bipolar, schizophrenia, paranoid schizophrenia.
Well, what's happening, and people in places of influence often don't want to hear this from us or accept it, but law of attraction is like a magnifying glass that magnifies whatever is. And the momentum of law of attraction is increasing also. So the crevasse between those who have and those who have not, and those who are well and those who are not, and those who are happy and those who are not, is becoming more and more defined because law of attraction is causing everything to be more.
There's so many people that don't know about law of attraction, and how can we explain law of attraction to someone who's never even heard of law of attraction? Is it fair? Is it fair for somebody to have such debilitating mental health illness or physical health illness when they don't even know that they're attracting what they're attracting?
Well, is it fair that when you bump the car at the top of the hill and it goes down, is gravity fair? And we say yes because it's consistent. So if you're talking about law of attraction's fairness, we say it's always fair and it's always accurate. But we agree with you that it's helpful if someone understands what their guidance system is telling them about it. And that's where you come in. That's where we come in. In other words, words don't teach. Strange that we offer so many. But life experience teaches. And so who do you know that is asking in a stronger way than someone who is really living something that they are not wanting to live? In other words, when you're really living something that you don't want to live, you're asking in a stronger way. And Source is answering in a stronger way. So then a little bit of help along the way goes a long way.
So if somebody's ready to release an illness, whether it's mental or physical, and it just won't go away.
You see, the first thing that you have to do if you want to be of any help to anyone, you have to stop arguing against law of attraction. And you have to stop arguing against where anyone stands. You have to stop arguing against where they are. And if we could say something really bold and blunt and helpful to you, it would be that that's what holds people right where they are. They keep arguing about where they are, which keeps holding them right where they are. In other words, you take someone who has also, And here's another really big piece of it, and certainly you will understand this because you are a part of this. It's exactly as if people have one foot in the world of reality and another foot, those like all of you, in the world of vibration. But when you've got one foot or both feet in the world of reality, and you don't know why whatever's happening to you is happening to you, so you are wanting to blame and you're wanting someone to fix. So there is this strong petitioning that of almost entitlement that says somebody needs to come and help me. And in order to get them to help me, I have to really lay out in detail my problems. And the systems want them documented. In other words, you have to document with great detail what's wrong with someone. So you get someone in front of you and you say, okay, we're going to get the system to work for you. In order for the social services and the social system to work for you, we've got to identify what's wrong with you. And right off the bat, I see these 30 or 40 things. And they have all of these clinical names. And so let's pigeonhole you, let's catalog you, let's define what's wrong with you so that somebody else will give us the funding in order to help you in your wrongness. Well, you can't have it both ways. You can't encourage the vibration of what is missing and get what you are wanting. It just doesn't. And law of attraction will not allow it. And that's why things are becoming so exaggerated. You can take someone who is nearly socially acceptable, and we are not encouraging any of you to be socially acceptable, because that's taking something outside of you and using it as a criteria for your behavior, and it gets you way out of whack with who you really are and what you're really asking for. But you could take someone who is, for the most part, rather socially acceptable, who has decided that they could benefit by some form of government aid that is coming, and you begin talking to them in the direction of getting that, and you will take them from their ability to cope and their ability to be well and a progress that might very well have been working very well for them, and you will set them back. It's just the way that it is. You cannot argue for limitations. And so think about what you're talking about. So isn't that what's happening? So many limitations must be documented and argued for in order to produce some paltry assistance that would help. And in the meantime, you're giving up your connection to Source, which is what everything that you want is about.
It's trying to find a balance. I'm trying to find a balance between both of those. Living in the reality and living in the vibration.
Well, then we would put it to them very clearly. We depending upon where you are within them. But, well, we can play this two ways. We can beat the drum of everything that's wrong with you and maybe get some assistance for you. But what's wrong with you will get wronger. You'll get more out of whack if we do it that way. Or we can decide that we're not asking anybody for anything, so we don't have to plot some course of why they need to help you in that way, and we can go quickly and speedily toward your self-sufficiency and your autonomy, your choice. I can play it either way.
And then on another subject, I was wondering, Abraham.
That was so simple.
No.
On another subject.
Well, it's just we
just unearthed.
I have like 15 questions, so I'm just going to ask the most. I think, did the Abrahams change, like come in? Is the council always there? The same council of Abraham?
Or of course not.
It changes?
Well, it's consciousness coming in response to subject, and so it depends on what the subject is, depends on the intensity of the subject, but it's the same way as, in other words, as an individual, do you acknowledge that your response to different situations is different? Mm-hmm. Because you're adapting to always wanting to give the best of yourself to whatever the situation is. So it's the same.
And then my last question, on a personal note, am I in the right relationship? And am I in the way at this moment with the right person in my life?
The fact that you're asking that question means that you are not understanding what we teach. Because if you were understanding what we teach, you would say, Abraham, your opinion really doesn't matter very much to me because I have this guidance within me. And I can really tell that I've put these things into my vortex and I can feel where I am in relationship to them. And I understand that I could extract from any situation everything that I want with the right focus. In other words, don't look for, it's sort of what we were talking about earlier. You're really not wanting fortune telling, and you're really not needing someone else to confirm. You've got your own guidance within you. In other words, when we say to you that we're teaching, we're teachers of teachers, we're teaching you to understand where you stand in relationship to what you want. You can tell by the way you feel. Are you mostly happy in the relationship?
Absolutely.
That's a really good sign. Yeah. Do you wake up eager about it? That's a really good sign. Can you hold your own vibration regardless of what's going on within it? Then that's a really good sign about what you've got going on. And that's the greater discussion. In other words, we are not so eager about talking about any specific relationship or event that is unfolding and the goodness or the badness or the rightness or the wrongness or the bestness of it, as we are interested in talking with any of you about your ability to find your way to anything and everything that you want. There are some people who will say, they will give us details of an unpleasant situation in a relationship, and they will say something like, do you think I should stop this relationship, or do you think I should look somewhere else? And we say, well, maybe it's a good idea. It might be less to stumble over if you weren't stumbling over that. But if you're leaving because there are things that you're stumbling over, then you got to get out of town too, because there's lots of stuff in town that you're stumbling over. And in this nation, in this government, in this world, on this planet, now we don't know where to send you. Because within everything there is wanted and unwanted. So the question is, a good question would be, Abraham, does it feel to you like I'm doing a good job of tuning myself to the whole of who I am? And we say yes and no, and we would say that to most people. In other words, the first subject that we were just talking about, you're letting the conditions that are out there control the majority of your vibration. And that's the way in your work. And that's the way that most people are living most life. Do you think that you're letting the conditions control the way you feel in your relationship? Esther thinks that about her relationship with Jerry. Such a good relationship. So easy to feel good under those conditions. Just observe what is and be happy. Just observe what is and be happy. A very conditional love she was living. And the thing about a conditional love is, when the condition is good, you're in a good place. But then he sort of kind of took off. And the condition doesn't look so good. And then she discovered that she could not rely on observing some condition to feel good. She had to find feeling good, which then creates the condition, you see. And so that's really a powerful thing to understand, isn't it? Yeah. We think you have a really good relationship, and if we were you, we'd stick right there with that.
Thanks. Thank you.